Hi everyone, am I audible to you? Let me know if I'm audible through the chat. All right, right. Thank you so much. We'll wait for about 5 minutes till others join and then we'll continue. Okay? Walaikum salam, Abdul Rahman. Hi everyone, good evening. I hope I'm audible to you. And yes, so today we have to do the physics, and I have to give you the idea how important is your physics competency in your science. So, are you ready to learn that? Yes. Right. Thank you for your encouragement. Yeah, let's move forward. So, today we are going to explore how important is our physics class. So, first of all, I wanted to tell you that the today's class will be until 11. It will be until 11, okay? And remember, I told you this month we will have part 1. We will have part 1 recap session. The physics part 2 recap session will be by December. I will update you about the dates and everything in the group. Okay, so if you are in the group, I will be updating you. I will keep posting the dates of our second session of our biology, physics, because I take a bit of time to explain you about the structure of your paper. What are the important lessons that you have to focus, because we have three competency in your science, especially we have the biology, chemistry and physics. So you might be thinking, if I focus, I know there are students who think that, like, if I only focus on physics, if I only focus on biology, will I be able to pass? Or I'm only good in chemistry and biology but not in physics, so will I be able to get a pass? Or if I get pass, what will be my grade? So you have certain ideas, you have certain doubts. So because of that, I have to take that time today to explain that. Along with that, I will tell you what are the theories of the physics we will be covering and everything we will be doing it in the part 2 session. Like, we won't be having any introduction anymore, like what are the important lessons, because already today we are discussing everything. In the part 2 we will be doing the continuation of the lesson I told you that I will be teaching you, right? So I hope everything is clear. So today's class will be until 11, so don't ask the question back again. So listen to me, you have to understand about the physics. So first of all, let me explain you how important is your physics competency. So, if I take your science subject, I can divide your science subject into three competency. If you want, you can note it down, or you can share the notes with your friends if you really wanted. So what you can do, so first we have what? Biology. Then we have chemistry, and then you have physics. So you have three competency. So you might be thinking, okay, right, how important are these competency? Yes, you can get the recordings, as I have been already shared you the live stream link. So in case if you miss the session, you can click the same live stream link in order to get it as a recording. You can watch back again. Okay, right. So what is happening is, so when you take the science, you can divide into three competencies. So if you are a person who is targeting to get an A for science, so you have to know this. So let's say your science subject is 100%. If I divide the 100%, I'm gonna tell you how important is this competency in order to get an A. So that means I can say 40 percentage of your O level paper will be completely physics, which means 40 percentage of your paper you will have complete physics question. Then you will have 35 percentage of the biology, and then you will only have 25 percentage of chemistry. So you can ask me, you know what, most of the time in science, the most tested, the most high value questions that comes from but physics. So if you are a student who is good in physics, then definitely you can target for an A, because you know what? The majority of the question comes with what? It will come with your physics. Most of your physics lesson will be covered. Then the next important lessons from biology, then finally chemistry. So that means if you are ready to study science, let's say tomorrow you are going to start studying science, I will recommend you to start from chemistry. You know why? Because in chemistry, you have only very few lessons to study and you can complete it easily because the less importance is given to the chemistry. So once you have completed the chemistry, what you will feel, okay, almost I have completed this part. Next, I have to go with the biology. So once you complete the biology, you have plenty of time to focus on the physics. You have a lot of things to do with, because the physics is the most important part. As I'm telling you earlier, make sure study the easiest thing first, then go to the hardest thing at last, so you can spend a lot of time, you can research, you can do more questions related to that, so that will be a good practice for you, right? So now already you got an idea which competency is very very important. So then you will understand, no, I didn't do the recap of chemistry, it's tomorrow. Okay, right, now listen to me carefully. Now let's discover what are the physics lesson. Okay, let's discover what are the physics lesson that we have in our grade 10 as well as in our grade 11. So we are going to discover. Okay, so first I will tell you what are the important lessons. Okay, right, look here. Now can you remember yesterday I said you for your whole grade 10 and 11, okay, Okay, so listen to me. If you take the grade 10, the whole grade 10 and 11 biology lessons, the total lessons that you have is what? 10 lessons. Complete grade 10 and 11. Out of that 10 lesson, I told you 5 lessons only important. Rest of the 5 is not that important because most of them will be tested in your MCQ. So which is not in the major question will be tested in your MCQ because they make sure they cover your whole syllabus in the paper. Okay, right, now let's see how many lessons we have in grade 10, we have in grade 11. So then we will understand how much importance and how easily we can study what? Physics. Okay, so listen to me carefully. So your unit 2 grade 10, the motion in a straight line lesson. So I can say that is like, I will tell you that later. So that is the lesson of physics. Then unit 4, Newton's law, frictional force, then resultant force. Then you have the turning effect of force, and then equilibrium of forces. You have hydrostatic pressure, you have the energy, work, energy, power, and then electricity and current. These are the physics lesson that you have in your grade 10. Yes, I will tell you the expected questions. You will note it down. I will tell you everything. Don't worry. I'm just going to give you the every part of the things that will come. Okay. Right. So these are the lessons that comes under your physics in your grade 10 syllabus, grade 11. So if you take your unit 4, unit 5, unit 9, that means waves, geometrical optics, heat, and then you have the questions related to the electrical appliances, home appliances, and electronics, electromagnetic induction. So these are the lessons. So totally how many lessons we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that means we can see that more than the biology, how many lessons are there in physics? How many lessons are there in physics that you have to study for the whole syllabus? If you take the grade 10 and 11, you have total 15. You have how much? You have total 15 lesson. So now if you take your total 15 lesson, sorry, it has to be 14. So if you take your total lesson in physics is, you have to focus 14. Okay, so let me tell you what are the important lessons out of this and what are the lessons that will be interconnected. Not like biology, okay? Not like biology. Physics are like interconnected. That means the main thing in this most of the part is like one lesson is connected to another lesson, another lesson is connected to another lesson, because most of the time we can say what? No, Atif. Unit 8 in your grade 11, it's chemistry, exothermic reaction, endothermic reaction, that one is it's chemistry. Okay, right. So now what is happening is, now you have to know what are the important lessons. So let me mark down the connections. Okay, now say if you take your grade 11, always remember, now say if they are going to give the question related to the waves, then geometrical optics will be the pair. Remember, they will be always comes in a pair. These questions, if they are going to give a question related to the unit 4, they will definitely give it as a pair. Then if you take the unit 9, it will come individually. Most of the time, I would say it's an important lesson. Now look here. Last year, I will tell you about the last year paper. Listen to me. If this unit 10, if the unit 10 lesson came, if that has come last year, this year, you will get what? You will get the unit 11. It's like this. If the paper in the last year, if they have given, okay, if they have given what, if they have given you how much, if they have given you the unit 10, then this year they will give you what? Unit 11. It's like this, they have given it as an option. So this year unit 10, next year unit 11. This year unit 10, again next year unit 11. So like that they have an option. So that's how your paper structure is working. Then this is also important lesson. Unit 13 also important lesson. It is also unit 13 also important lesson. Okay. Then if you take the grade 10, I will tell you the percentage that is important. If I say your grade 10, if I take the grade 10 and the 11, totally let's say it's 100%. Totally, let's say 100%. Okay. Someone is having the doubt with the number of lesson. I'll count it back again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, it's 15. Sorry, huh? Right, okay. So look here. So what is happening is, so if you take the 100%, out of 100%, I'll tell you how many percentage of this lesson would be appearing in your paper. So first listen to me. If I take the unit 2, just 5 percentage of the unit 2, especially about the VT graph, DT graph, you will get it in MCQ, and you get some kind of a questions related to the graph in your structured essay or essay type question. If you take the unit 4 and 5, some people think Newton's law is easiest lesson, very few chapters only. Remember, maybe the lesson is easy, but they always connect the question with some experiments related to the physics, so you have to be very mindful. I would say this lesson 20 percentage important, because most of every year you can see what every year you get a set of question, that is related to the Newton's law, as well as what? As well as frictional force. So what you need to understand is unit 4 lesson and unit 5 lesson is very important. Then unit 9, resultant force, I would say resultant force is not a big lesson. Also, it's like just a general knowledge that you have to know. If the forces are in the same direction, you have to add. The forces are in the opposite direction, you have to subtract. So that is about the resultant force. No need of focusing the unit 9. Come to the unit 11 and 12. So unit 11 and 12 is always important, around 25 percentage of your unit 11 and 12 is always like a pair. It will appear in pair. So most of the time in physics, these lessons will be appearing as a pair, like connected question. Two lessons connected. Then unit 15 is the pressure lesson. I would say around 10 percentage is important in this lesson. Then unit 18 is not a big deal. You have to know only the, what do you say, you only should know about what is the kinetic energy, potential energy, and their differences, and you have to know the equation for the power, kinetic energy, potential energy equation. That's it. Then unit 19, we can say around 20 percentage important. Most of the time you will be tested with the circuit, because unit 19 can be connected with your unit 10. Also it can be connected with your unit 11. So it can be connected because it's all about electronics, electricity, so they can connect it. Then here I would say 15 percentage important. And then if you take the unit 9, like we can say 5 percentage, you can take it the 5 percentage. I said it's not that important. And then if you take unit 10 or 11, either of these can be 5 percentage important, because this year if unit 10 comes, next year unit 11 would be appearing. So either one of this would come, right? Then unit 13, electromagnetic induction, 10 percentage important. So you can see the most important lesson here. Here you can see the most important lessons. You can score well. So these are the most important lessons that you can focus. These are the important lessons. Like in physics, you can't skip like how you do in biology, in chemistry. But in, what do you say? In the physics, the most of the lessons are very, very, very important. Are you clear with that? Are you clear with that? I will explain you about the last year paper, and then I will compare with the this year paper, the lessons that we are expecting. Okay? Right. Okay. Give me around 5 minutes. It's Azan here. I'm in Qatar. That's what it's here. The Isha Azan is by 6:20. Okay, thank you for waiting. Yes. So some people ask me whether you will say under the lessons, you will say the sub topics also. Yeah, I would say the subtopics, but mainly it's all come under assuming. I'm assuming it. Okay. Right. Next thing is okay. Biology is if you're focusing on biology and physics. Let's say if you're a person who is good in biology and physics, you can expect a B. If you're a person who is doing the biology and chemistry, you can expect a C to S. Yeah. If you're focusing on everything, you can get an A. You should just understand how much you have to focus. Biology and physics can bring you to the B, while that means if you're answering accurately, it can bring you to the B. And if you're focusing on biology and chemistry, you might be fall under C or you might fall under the S, between S and C. It can depends. It depends on how much you are scoring in your MCQs. Okay. So sometimes MCQs also can make you to score an A if you're scoring well in your MCQs. Along with that, you can score well. So it depends on how you target. Okay. So from now itself, you have to think, okay, so I always tell you to target for all three competency. If you are a person who wants to reduce your stress, try to organize and do it well. Because if you are studying chemistry today, study only chemistry. If you're studying physics tomorrow, study only physics tomorrow. If you're studying biology, study the biology day after tomorrow. Don't study all three competency at once. You won't be able to understand because your brain will get messed up. So make sure that you study the competency that you are choosing today. Study the only one competency. Chemistry, all the lessons, it's okay. You can go on because you will have the same mentality about the chemistry. But if you mix the chemistry with the physics, sometimes you will feel the science is hard. So that's the main reason that you feel science is hard. You don't like science because why? You don't understand because you're messed up, right? Okay, come here. Now, last year, I will tell you how much marks you can score if you're only focusing on the structured essay question. Okay, structured essay as well as the essay type question. So, listen to me carefully. Okay, so if you take the part A, in the part A, last year, 2000 2024. So last year 2024, in the question number 4, remember always question number 4 part A structured essay will always have the physics question, complete physics question you will have. So last year, the structured essays they are right. So structured essay they can divide it into two parts: sub question A, sub question B. So sub question A, last year they gave unit 19. So unit 19 of grade 11, sorry, grade 10. So it's about the electrical circuit. You have to make sure to arrange the electrical circuit whether the diagram is correct or not. So that kind of question it appeared in the last year. Then if you take the part B, they came up with the unit 9. Unit 9, grade 11. It's about the heat. You can remember the lesson heat, right? So especially they spoke about the thermal equilibrium. Experiment related to the thermal equilibrium. So they spoke about the experiment related to the thermal equilibrium. For this, you are getting complete 15 marks. You are getting how much? Complete 15 marks. Then when you come to the part B, that means remember in the structured essay, you have only one physics question. That is question number 4. Okay, question number 4, A and B. So, question number 4, A and B, you are getting what? You are getting 15 marks. Okay, so you are getting 15 marks, and then you are getting 19. You need 19, you need 9 in the last year. Then, when you take your part B essay type question, so if you take the essay type question, under the essay type question, question number 7, you will get complete 20 marks if you're only focusing on physics. That means the whole question number 7 is full of physics. That means the physics question has been divided as what? They have divided as a sub question A, sub question B, sub question C. In the sub question A, they have given the lesson unit 18. They have given the lesson unit 18, grade 10. It's about the work done. They have asked the question related to the work done. Then in the sub question B, they have given the lesson unit 4 and 5 of grade 10, which is frictional force as well as the Newton's balance, Newton's law. So that is about the unit 4 and 5, grade 10. Then when it comes to the question, sub question C, they have given you unit 2. Unit 2, grade 10, it's about they have given you a displacement versus time graph to find the velocity, to draw the acceleration graph. So they have given a graph, and by looking at the graph, you have to answer the question. So they have given these lessons. Now see how important these lessons, whatever the things I told you, it's all included. So then what is happening? So here you are getting complete 20 marks. So that means if you're a person who is targeting for an A, now see, question number 4, 15 marks. Here 20 marks. So here totally 35 marks is here. Then when you take the question number 8, okay, question number 8, sub question B. If you take the question number 8, sub question B only, you will have the physics question. So last year they have given the physics question unit 4 and 5 of grade 11. So which means they have given, I will say you the chapters. Yeah, so they have given you the unit 4 and 5, grade 11. So they have given a convex lens. So they have given a biconvex lens, and they have asked you to complete the diagram, and they have asked some questions related to the rays, the refracted ray, and everything, and about the waves also. So some questions about the waves and some questions about the lenses they have mixed, and they have asked the question. So then if you take here, that means how many marks we can score here? We can score here 10 marks, because now the sub question A is a biology. Remember, in the question number 8, sub question A is a biology, sub question B is a physics. You get mixed questions, okay? Then when you take the question number 9, sub question A, you will have a question related to the chemistry, and then you will have a question related to the physics. So which means last year they have given unit 13. They have given unit 13, grade 11, which is about electromagnetic induction. So they have given an electric current that is passing through a conductor. To find the direction of the current passing, find the direction of the magnetic field. So these things they have given in the last year's 2024 paper. So that means here we can focus how many marks? We can focus totally 10 marks, because they are dividing here at chemistry and here physics. So that means chemistry will take 10 marks, physics will take 10 marks. So that means totally each essay type question will be 20 marks. So here if I take the 15 marks here and if I take the 20 marks here, that is 35. Again, say you are a person who is really good in biology and physics, you can select this also, which means here also you can take the 10 marks from the physics. Here also you can take the 10 marks from the physics, which means totally you can score 55 out of 200 only for the essay type question and structured essay. So if you are going to take it out of 100, how much would you take it? So you can score, you can score around 27.5 out of 100. So that means, see, when you focus only in structured essay, when you focus only in essay type question, you can score well. Now I have told you the locations where would it appear. Now you can ask me, okay teacher, now this is about last year, right? What can we expect this year? So let me tell you, you are going to note it down along with me. And someone asked me, will I teach all of them? Yes, I will teach you. You don't want to worry about it. But first, let me tell you what are the important sections that will come under this part, this part, this part, and this part. This is all assumption. Out of this, 50 percentage can be appeared. Out of this, 50 percentage can be appeared. So note it down. I'm gonna erase this. I'm going to erase this. So under the 15 mark question, you can get the, I will write the subtopic also. Now some people, they think, okay teacher, should I learn the whole lesson? You will have some confusion, right? Under that, I will write you the subtopic. So make sure you write the subtopic as well as the lesson number. So I can expect the lesson. Number one, under the question number 4, 15 marks, you can get method of heat transfer. So method of heat transfer, radiation, convection, conduction. So this is belong to what? Unit 9, grade 11. Unit 9, grade 11. This can come here. Okay. Then the next one is, next lesson that I can expect is moment and this is the expected questions for this year. Don't confuse with what I'm saying. So last year's one only I just now discussed. Now whatever the things that I'm expected in these places, I'm writing it. So you can note it down. Okay. Right. Okay. So moment and couple of forces. So moment and couple of forces, which lesson? So you can expect the unit 11 can be combined with the unit 12, grade 10. You can combine there. Okay. You can combine it. So you can expect this lesson there. And the third one you can expect is transmission of pressure through liquid. So this is unit 15, grade 10, related to the pressure. There is a sub topic here. There are some calculation that will come here. So you can remember that. Okay. Right. Okay. So then the lesson 4 that I would expect this time is Newton's law. So you don't need any subtopic. You should know the Newton's law, examples, and remember Newton's law can come with the frictional force. You can get it with the frictional force also. So Newton's law can be appeared with the frictional force. It's like they are like couples. They never come alone. So they are always comes in couples. So in case, let's say, in case if they're giving the question number 4, under that they can select this part, they can select this part, they can give this as sub question A, they can give this as sub question B. That's what I have given these options. So you might be thinking, are we guessing everything? No. We are guessing only a specific region that is not yet covered in our past papers. In our past papers, they haven't covered certain lessons, certain parts as a question. So we can expect this year also they might give it. And It goes as a balance, right? Okay, so Newton's law and frictional force, you can take unit 4 and 5, that's grade 10. So these are the lessons we can expect for the question number 4, part A. Shall I raise the board? Shall I go to the next one? Yes. Next one, shall I move? Yeah, okay, I'm raising it out. If you don't have time, you can take a screenshot. You can take a screenshot if you don't have time. I will say you, don't worry. Everything is like, I will write it down. Okay, now look here. Now, when you take the part B, essay type question, okay? You mean next year, right? So next year in the sense like 2026 February. You mean that? Yeah. 2026 February. I'm giving you the expected questions, okay? Right. Okay. Listen. Okay, look here. Then question number 7, you're going to expect 20 marks from the question number 7. So these are the lessons that would be appearing. Transformers, calculations related to the transformers, and electromagnetic. The lesson electromagnetic induction can appear. Transformers and electromagnetic induction. Remember, these two will come under the unit 30. These two will come under unit 13, grade 11. Electromagnetic induction. So you can get that lesson. Then the second lesson is about electromagnetic spectrum. You know, electromagnetic spectrum, X-rays, UV rays, visible rays. So those part and calculation of waves also can come. So electromagnetic spectrum, and we can say calculations related. You know the calculation, right? To find the frequency of the wave, to find the wavelength of the wave. So we can say calculations of wave, right? So this is unit 4, grade 11. Okay. Then the second part is Ohm's law. Ohm's law. So Ohm's law is about, they will give you to find the resistors calculation. They will give you series connection, they will give you parallel connection, and they will ask you to calculate the resistor, the resistance. They will ask you to calculate the resistance. So I will teach you that also. So Ohm's law will come. So that is unit 19, grade 10. Then the next lesson that would come under this is electronics. The lesson electronics. Under the lesson electronics, they never ask definitions, like, you know, it's not like your term papers, it's not like your like what do you say, grade 9 papers. They don't ask you the definition of that. They will always ask you what? They will always ask you to explain in a scientific way. So explaining in a scientific way is very important than you know the definition. That means you should know the definition, but in exam they will not ask you to write the definition. What do you mean by inheritance? What do you mean by electromagnetic induction? They don't ask, but they can ask you the factors related to that. They can ask you experiments related to that, conditions. These things can be asked, right? So electronics, under the lesson electronics, you will get the rectification part. Rectification diagram. Half wave rectification, full wave rectification. That diagram can be appeared under the part electronics. This is unit 11, grade 11. These lessons can be appeared in your question number 7. You are getting solid 20 marks there. If you are okay with that, we can move with the next set of questions that would appear in question number 9, question number 8. Then after that, we are done with the discussion of the paper, right? I will erase it out. Okay, thank you. Right. Now, if you take the question number 8, part B, it's a short question, right? Most of the time in your paper, they are just giving for the marks, 10 marks. You will get a question that is valued for 10 marks. So if it is 10 marks, always it will come with a short question. So sometimes we can expect the lessons unit 5, unit 5, grade 11. It can be about the mirrors. It can be about the mirrors, or it can be about the lens, or sometimes they can speak about the properties of light. Properties of light. They can get any question out of that. But last year they gave lens, but this year we can expect the mirrors or properties of light like reflection, refraction, those part, because reflection comes under the mirrors. So they can connect with that. Okay. Then we can expect the other lesson. We can expect the lesson unit 15 again. We can expect unit 15, grade 10, question related to the lesson upthrust. Upthrust lesson like Archimedes principle. You should know the Archimedes principle. You should know the calculations to find the upthrust, then the equations, conditions. You should know that the questions related to the upthrust, the whole upthrust will come, that will appear. They can give you some tricky questions. Okay. Then third lesson we can expect is kinetic and potential energy. So we can expect kinetic and potential energy. So if you take the kinetic and the potential energy, that's unit 18, grade 10. So unit 18, grade 10, we can expect that. So these are the lessons we can expect in the question number 8, part B, that is suitable for your 10-mark question, right? Then question number 9. So that also will appear in the part B. So most of the time you will get unit 2, grade 10. So we can expect you will have a graph. You will have any graph, VT graph, or you can have a VT graph, or you can see the screen. You can leave the session and rejoin. Others could see, I think, others you all can see the screen, right? I mean, you can see what I'm writing, right? Yeah, okay. So in case if you feel any difficulties, try to rejoin back again, okay? Okay, so you can have VT graph or DT graph. You can have any graphs, so you should be able to know that. And then you can have here unit, yeah, unit 4. Unit 4, grade 11, it's about the waves. You can have questions related to the waves, like any questions. They can give you a picture of a wave, so you should know about it. So these are the like mostly, we can say the mostly frequently the lessons that has been come to your paper from the sections. So these are the lessons we could expect. Okay, most of the times we can expect that, and we can even say unit 13 also can come here. Unit 13, grade 11 also can come here. Like you can get a conductor. By using the conductor, you can find the direction of the current, direction of the force, direction of the magnetic field. So they can ask. That means I can't specifically say in the unit 13, because unit 13 is something like it's a combined parts. Like we can't take it separately, but sometimes they can ask you the rules, the left hand grip rule, right hand grip rule. They can ask you about the rules, about the how to find the magnetic field, forces and everything. So that can come under the unit 13, right? Okay, so these are the expected parts, expected lessons that would appear in your paper. Make sure you thoroughly learn the lessons that I told you. As I told you, just follow the method I told you. First study chemistry, go biology, Take the physics later. Then you have plenty of time to research, learn, ask doubts, make mistakes, and everything. You can even do past papers. But remember, when you are doing past papers, make sure you know the theory. Some people will ask me, teacher, is it okay if I only do the past papers instead of learning the lessons? How can that come? How can that come? Just think, will you? Like, if you don't know the lessons, doing past paper will make you more mad. It will make you feel like the science is fully crazy paper. Why? Because you don't know anything and you're doing a question. It's impossible. You know the lesson, do the paper, then you can do it. That's the main reason I do theory for you. I teach the theory for you, that is important. Then after that, the papers that I give, when we have time, we can discuss. If I just discuss the paper that I have been provided you, the chemistry, physics, and biology, you don't know anything, and I just keep speaking. No point. You don't gain anything. So because of that only, I thought of teaching whatever the things I told you important. Are you clear with that? Are you clear with that? Got the idea? Okay. So you might have some, yeah, you might have some what? So you have some ideas, you might have some doubts. What are the things we are going to learn? So let's see what we are going to learn. 2024 paper, what is the doubt is about? Because I just told you the lessons that was appeared, that's it. Other than that, nothing else. Okay, right. So, what you will learn today and the next session is you will be learning the unit 2 of your grade 10. I will be teaching you the complete physics parts. You don't want to worry, okay? Unit 2. So, especially most of them has a problem with the diagram. So, has anyone have a problem diagram like this first? Has anyone seen diagrams like this? And you don't know how to solve this? Has anyone having a problem? You need to grade 10 motion in a straight line. And like, do you have a problem like you have the diagram like this and still you can't get this done? I will teach this to you in a clear way, right? I will teach this to you diagram and everything. And okay, so in that, better you don't do any settings and everything. That's really complicated for me to continue with the class. Okay, so unit 2. So unit 2, I will be teaching you about the diagrams. Especially, this will be appearing in your MCQs. Then unit 4 and 5, Newton's law, frictional force. Still there are people who don't understand the questions related to the frictional force, the questions related to the Newton's law, especially when it comes to the moon. You have to calculate the weight when you are in the moon. You have to calculate the weight when you're on the earth. Moment of the force. So then you have to find what? You have to find the frictional force, and what is the highest frictional force. There will be a graph under the frictional force. So these things I will be teaching you under this part. Then when it comes to the unit 12 and 11 of grade 10, moment of force, especially the calculation, you will have a diagram like this, and you have to find, they will give you the specific distance here, and then you have to find what is the force that is exerted here. By giving the force here, they will ask you certain questions, couple of force. I will teach you that. And then unit 15, the lesson pressure. Under the lesson pressure, I will teach you about the transmission, the pressure, the transmission of pressure that has been exerted through the liquid. I will be teaching you that part, that calculation, and upthrust also I will be teaching about what? I will be teaching you about the upthrust. Unit 4, what will it come is most of the diagrams, most of the questions comes from the unit 4. Newton's law, it doesn't mean that you know all three Newton's law. It doesn't matter, but you have to understand deep, okay? Then unit 18, I will teach you the difference between the kinetic energy and potential energy. When it comes to unit 19, when it comes to unit 19, I will teach you about the how to find the Ohm's law, the Ohm's law diagram. I will teach you about the series connection, parallel connection. How can you identify the correct circuit, correct electrical circuit, and the incorrect electrical circuit? I will teach you to differentiate them, and to find the resistance value. I will be teaching that to you. Unit 19. That is from the grade 10. Grade 11, I will be teaching you about the waves, especially electromagnetic spectrum, calculation for the frequency, and I will be teaching you about the calculation to find the wavelength, that one, and the diagram. Then the unit 5 in grade 11, I will be teaching you about the lens and the mirror diagram, how to do it easily without too much of rush. I will teach you that. Then unit 9, grade 11, heat. Under the heat, I will teach you about the graph of the heat transfer. The we say three methods of heat transfer: conduction, convection, radiation, and the calculations of the heat. I will teach you that. Then unit 10, electrical appliances and the calculations will be taught. And unit 11, rectification, full wave rectification, half wave rectification, and finally electromagnetic induction I will be teaching you. So I will be dividing the sessions into two, as I already told you. So until 11 today, whatever the physics things that we are learning, we will be learning here. Yeah, I told you the unit 11, the grade 11 also I said you. The lessons that I'm covering in grade 11 also I said you, but I didn't write it on the board. Okay. So today until 11, whatever the physics lesson that we are able to cover, we will be covering in our session 2. We will not have any introduction straight away. We will go with the things that we wanted to learn. Are you okay with that? Are you ready with that? Yes. Got the idea? I hope you are clear with that. Right. Okay. So let's get started. If you have any important points, mark down. Before I start the explanation, I wanted to say you something. When I explain something, I will not look at the chat, because I'm always focusing on whatever the things I'm teaching, because I have to be mindful the important points that I have to give. In case if I see your chat, I will be confused, because my mind will be focusing on replying your chat. So finally, the thing that I wanted to teach you, I might not teach. So because of that, I will not focusing on the chat. But whenever I teach a small part, whenever I teach a small part, I will ask you whether you understood. At that time, say yes. If you say yes, I will say, okay, yes, we can move to the next part. If you say no, I didn't understand, could you please explain me? Then I'm ready to explain you one more time. Okay, so that is how it will be working. Second session, I will tell you when it is on, because if you are in my group, I will keep posting about the second session date, because I have to manage with my other timings and everything. Then only I can post it. So first, let's finish this series. Once we are done, I will update you about the second session. First, we'll finish this, okay? Then next thing is the grade 11. Someone asked me what are the lessons we will be covering. All the lessons in grade 11 that is belong to the physics. Under that, certain parts I will be covering. When we are doing grade 11, you will understand. Okay, clear? Okay, right. Yeah, second session will be longer than what we are doing right now. I know these days you guys are going to the school, you might be very tired, but I think in December you will get your holidays and you are ready to sacrifice, because almost your pressure up. You are waiting to sacrifice yourself. So since because of that, I'm okay to go with that. Okay? Right. Okay. So let's get started now. I'm not worried about the people who leave the session, they watch the recording anytime. It's your wish to watch the recording anytime you want, but I won't be forcing. If you're ready to go on with me, then definitely come with me. I will take you to the A. So try to be in the session, be active. Whenever I ask question, don't send questions to me or doubts to me when I'm teaching, because I won't reply. After that, don't misunderstand me. Some people think, why aren't you replying? The reason is I'm focused on teaching, right? I'm sorry about that. Okay? Right. Okay. Now we are going to study about the unit 2. Don't scold me. Don't think that I am going to go a bit little in a basic way, but it's not basic. A very fast and furious way that you would like. Okay, so listen. First, before you study about the graph, you should take some things in your mind. Okay, you should take some things in your mind. So first, you are going to study unit 2, grade 10. Okay, you might ask me, is this the very important lesson? No, but most of the MCQ, you see this question under this lesson. So because of that, we are going to study about that motion in a straight line. So if you take the lesson motion in a straight line, you have to know someone called distance. You have to know someone, a person called distance, and then you have to know someone called displacement. If you take the distance means we say the total path. We say distance means what? Distance means we take it as the total journey. The length of the total journey, we take it as a distance. Displacement is we say shortcut, the shortest way to reach the destination, we call it as displacement. But in your exam, they will not ask you what is distance and displacement, but you should have an idea about it, right? So when you take the difference between the distance and the displacement, distance is something you need to understand. Distance means what? What do you mean by distance? Distance means the total path where you are traveling, we call it as distance. Displacement means we call it as the shortest path. So the similarities between the distance and the displacement is you measure it by meters. You measure both of them by what? Meters. But here comes the most important part. Let me categorize to you. Listen, if I take the distance, you have to know there are two types of quantities. There are two types of quantities that you have to learn. One you call it as the scalar quantity, other one you call it as the vector quantity. So scalar quantity means, listen to me, scalar quantity means they will have a magnitude. Magnitude means we call it as a value, we call it as a magnitude or we call it as a value. So then if they have a magnitude and if they don't have a specific direction, we call it as scalar quantity. But what is vector quantity? Vector quantity means they have the both the direction and a magnitude. We call it as vector quantity. So now the main classification comes under the distance and the displacement. Now you will study about the speed. You will study about the velocity. You will study about the acceleration. How are you learning this? Because the main people to classify the speed, velocity, acceleration is these two people only. So for that, what we have to do, let me draw a diagram for you. And by looking at the diagram, you can simply identify distance is with a scalar quantity or a vector quantity, right? So listen to me here. So what is happening is, let me take a diagram. Let's say this is your home, and let's say this is going to be your school. So let's say you can travel in path 1 using the path 1, you can go from home to the school, and then you can use the path 2 and you can go to the home to the school. Home, from home to the school. So you have two paths. So if I take the path 2, it's 200 meter. If I take the path 1, it's 50 meters. So by looking at this, you can identify which is a distance and a displacement. So distance is what? The longest path, we say it as distance. So let's say the path 2 is going to be the distance. If I take the path 1, who is going to be the displacement? Path 1 is going to have the displacement. So now the scalar quantity and the vector quantity has been divided. Why do you differentiate this is scalar quantity, vector quantity? Because of one factor. Who is that factor? That is direction. So if you take the direction, you know this is north, south, and this is going to be west, and this is going to be east. Subdirection: northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest. You have the subdirection. So if I wanted to see whether the distance is a scalar quantity or a vector quantity, what I will do, first think I am moving in this path, which means my direction of this path is in the northeast. When I come to this particular point, it's going to be east. When I go down, it's southeast. Again, I'm coming to the east, southeast, east. That means I'm not having a continuously constant direction. So which means, do I have a constant direction? No. So if I don't have a constant direction and if I have a value, we call that as what? Scalar quantity. We call that as what? Scalar quantity. Now you might think she can tell distance is a scalar quantity, displacement is a vector quantity. She can say like that. Why she has to drag that? You might think like that. I will tell you the reason behind that, because all of your lessons are getting classified because of this. You don't know, you might not have learned this. The main reason is because of these people only you differentiate, you have certain different lessons. Why? Because of this quantity. So let me tell you that later. For now, understand how to identify it, because you will need it. You will need it. Okay, right? So if you take the vector quantity, they should have a proper direction, right? Now if you take the path 1, it will always going towards what? It's always moving towards what? It is always moving towards the east, which means displacement is a vector quantity and the distance is a scalar quantity. Are you clear with that? Are you clear with that? Don't worry, we got plenty of time. Don't worry, just listen. Are you clear with that? Are you clear with that? Why did we divide this as a scalar quantity and why did we divide this as a vector quantity? Okay, listen to me carefully. Now, what is happening is, now when you take the scalar quantity means they don't have a direction, because they are having not having a straight path. But when you take the displacement is a vector quantity, they always have a constant direction. So because of that, we say that as a vector quantity. So now what is happening? The only similarity between the distance and the displacement is you measure by meter. But it is the total distance is the distance. The shortest distance we call it as displacement. Now comes the diagram. Now, most of y'all doesn't know to draw a VT graph. So in your exam, they used to give something like this. Okay, so let me explain this to you. So first I will explain you how this is created. Okay, now listen to me. Now when you say, let's say for example, a person is moving from A to B. Let's say a person is moving from A to B. So when he is moving from A to B, let's say he is taking the distance of 100 meter. Remember, when the distance and the displacement, they will become same value. I will tell you when does this distance and the displacement become the same value. The distance and the displacement will become same value when they are moving in a straight path without option. Now say for example, if you are moving from A to B and if you have two options like this, then there is of course you will have a displacement with a different value. But if they don't have any other path other than this path, then the distance and the displacement will always have the same value. They will always have what? The same value. So now what do you need to understand? You need to understand that the distance and the displacement will have the same value when they are moving in one path without any optional path. Without any optional path, if they are moving in one straight line, then we can say that the distance and the displacement is always equal. So now what is happening? Let's say now the boy is moving from A to B. He is just taking 10 seconds to move from A to B. Then again, let's say he continuously walking, and he going to the path C. He's going to the point C. Again, he's spending 50 meter. Let's say 50 meter from B to C. Again, 10 seconds. That means what can be his total distance? What can be his total distance? His total distance is what? 150. His total distance is 150. So if the total distance is 150, what will be his displacement? Displacement also will be 150. Why? Do you have any optional path? Do you have any optional path? No, you don't have any optional path. So because of that, the distance and the displacement will be same. So now what is happening? Let's say the boy is standing at the sea for another 10 seconds. He's standing at the sea for another 10 seconds. Now what he's thinking? He's decided to come back to the B again. Let's mark this B as a D. Let's mark this B as a D. So he's returning back. So when he is returning back, what is happening is the same distance. Distance will never change. Now what will happen? When he is moving forward, when he keep on moving, the distance will be keep on added. Remember, the distance will be added. But will the displacement get added? The displacement will not be getting added when you are returning back. Remember, displacement will not be added when you are returning back. It will go in reverse. It will go in reverse. So let's say, for example, when you are moving forward, distance and the displacement will increase. Distance and the displacement will increase. But when you returning back, only the displacement will have the minus value. It will always have the minus value. Now think I'm coming back to the B, into the point D. Let's say I'm coming back to the point D in the point B. That means I'm just marking this as D because to show that I'm returning back. So according to the displacement, I can think instead of going to the C, I could stand at the B, right? So that means what can be my displacement then? Let's say, what is my distance here? What is my distance here? Just add all the values and tell me what is my distance here. Okay, so my distance is 200 meter. But what is my displacement? What is my displacement? So my displacement can be what? Instead of I go to the A, to the B, to the C, I came back to the B, right back again. So instead I go to this place. That means just reduce this one. Just forget about this 50. What is the value that is there? What is this value? That means this is going to be my displacement. So my displacement is, just think, instead I move forward. If I have been in the B, what would be my displacement? That's 100. Now think, you are returning back to the home. So when you are returning back to the home, let's say you back to the E. Let's mark this as the E, as the point where you have been returned. So when you are returned, the same distance will be added. Let's say your distance is going to be 300 meter. Remember, distance will keep on added. But what is the shortest path? Now think, what is the displacement? What is the definition for displacement? Displacement means what? The shortest path between the starting point to the ending point. So I started at the A, I ended at the E. That means any differences, that means, now say, instead I go like this and come back, I could have stayed at home. That means what will be my displacement? My displacement will be 0. So when you come back to the starting point, remember, displacement will be always 0. Just remember, if you don't get this idea, just remember, they want us to draw these things in your book, but just to make sure that you understood, listen to me. When you are moving forward or when you are returning back, distance will keep on added. It will keep on added. But displacement, when you only move forward, displacement will be added. When you are returning back, displacement will get reducted. That means displacement will reduce. It will go to the reverse value. Let's say if you go from the 100 to the 50, let's say for example, you have come to the 100, 150. So then when you're returning back, your displacement will be 100 back again. So that means when you are returning back in a displacement, you have to understand your value will be decreasing. Got it? Got it? Understood? I'll explain you again. Listen to me. I will say you a very short way to remember. Listen to me. When you are moving forward, your distance and the displacement will always stay. It will be always there. Okay, but when you are moving forward, the only person who will keep on adding the value is the distance. Distance is the one who will keep on adding values. But the displacement is not like the distance. What he will think is, he think instead of I go in this way, like we say, instead I come in this way, why should I go like this? I would have stayed at the B. That means just think the shortcut. Now you may think, let's say, let me give you an example. So the example I can give you is, let's say you are going to the A to the B, and then you are going to the C. Let's say like that. Now say what is happening. Your friend is going from A to the B to the C, and then he is coming back to the B. Now what are you thinking? Instead, I go to the C, I would have stand at the B, right? So that means you can understand the displacement. What can you say? Displacement is what? It will decrease when you are returning back. It will come back to the zero when you come to the starting point. So when you go to the front, when you move forward, displacement keep on increasing. When you're returning back, displacement will keep on decreasing. Now let me teach you by having a time, graph, how to draw the diagram. I will teach you how to draw the diagram. First, listen to me, get an idea. From that, I will give you one small work to do it by yourself, then only you can do it. Okay, look here, look here, listen to me. Okay, listen. Now say I'm going to give you a chart. Okay, I will show you how to draw the displacement versus time graph. So how to do displacement, displacement versus time graph. I'm going to teach you how to draw displacement versus time graph. So in your exam paper, they have given you something like this, a chart like this. They they have given you a chart like this. So in the chart on top, they have given the time. At the below, they have given you the displacement. Remember, the symbol for the displacement is capital S. The symbol for the displacement is what? Capital S. So now what is happening? They have given you a chart like this. By looking at the chart, they can ask you what is the maximum distance that is traveled by the boy. They can ask you blah blah stuffs. I will ask you the question. You will understand. Now say 0. They have given you 10, 20, 30, 40, and they have given you 50. And they have given you a value. If the time is 0, distance, displacement, everyone will be 0. Then what will happen here? Let's say 100, 150. Let's say the displacement. They have only given you the displacement, and they have given you 150, and they have given you 100. Then they have given you the 0. Now look here. What is the maximum displacement that is traveled by the boy? What is the maximum displacement that is traveled by the boy? Very good. That's 150. Okay. From 0 to 100, from 150 to 150, from 100 to 0, just divide the chart into 3. Just divide the chart into 3 points. One point is from 0 to 100. Okay. From 150 to 150. From 100 to 0, I have divided into 3 points. So how did I divide is 0 to 100. Now say, if I say, let's say 0 to 150. If I take 0 to 150, you can see that the displacement has been increasing. So they can ask in your exam, explain the motion from 10 seconds to 20 seconds. They can ask you. explain the motion between the 10 seconds to 20 seconds. So you can say, if the displacement is increasing, that boy is moving forward. Remember, that guy is moving forward. This is a symbolic what? Like when you look at the chart, you have to understand what is this chart is trying to explain us. So remember, when the displacement is increasing, that means that person is moving forward. Then if you take the 150 to 150, is there any change between 150 to 150? They can ask you. Explain the motion between the 20th second to the 30th second. You see there is no change. So that means when there is no change, we can say the displacement, whenever the displacement is not increasing or decreasing, we understand the ball is at rest. He is at rest. He's just standing there, not moving. Okay, so what you need to understand is the displacement. What can you say? If the displacement is not increasing or it is not increasing or decreasing, what can you say? It will be at rest. The person is at rest. Now look here, from 150 to the zero, what can you say? From 150 to zero, there is a decrease. So when the displacement is decreasing, what do you need to understand? What is the opposite of moving forward? What is the opposite of moving forward? The opposite of moving forward is what? Moving backward. That means the person is what? What do you mean by that? The person is returning back. So if they are returning back, the displacement will be keep on moving. That means it will be keep on decreasing. So these are the 3 points. By taking these 3 points, I will make sure to draw a diagram for you. Like this only they will ask you. They will give you a chart like this. Question number 1, they can ask you, what is the maximum displacement traveled by the child? 150. Second question, from the 10 seconds to 20 seconds, explain the motion. We can say the child is moving forward, displacement has increased from 150, 150. That means they can ask you, explain the motion between the 20th second to the 30th second. That means what can we say? The child is at rest. Explain the motion between the last 20 seconds. The child is returning back. Then finally, by the above chart, draw the displacement versus time graph. So that means by looking at this, you have to draw the displacement versus time graph. It's easy. So how are you going to draw the displacement versus time graph? So if you take the displacement versus time graph, if you take the displacement versus time graph, let's say in the graph you have y-axis and you have the x-axis. Okay, now I think you may have done this mistake. Remember, when it comes to y-axis, make sure you write the complete name, displacement, and write the unit. For this one, you get 1 mark. Then you write time, you measured in seconds, you get complete 1 mark. So that means if you don't know to draw the chart, at least you by doing this, you can get the complete 2 marks out of that. Clear? Now, let me teach you how to draw the graph. So, how to draw the graph? How to draw the graph? To draw the graph, what is the maximum displacement traveled by the child? 150. Don't mark. Some people they mark 100, 110, 150. Don't do that. Not needed. They didn't ask you to do like that. It's not like how you do the graph in your max paper. This is something different. Okay, it's easy also. So, what is the maximum displacement traveled by the child? 150. That's it. Now, as you have divided, same like that, divide the points here also 3. Divide here also 3 points. So when you divide the points here also 3 points like this, you will feel very easy to mark the graph. So now think, from where the displacement is increasing? From the time 0 to 20. From the time 0 to 20, from this point to this point, 0 to 20 seconds, what is happening? The displacement is increasing from 0 to 150. So that means what can you do? You can draw a dot like this, make sure like this. Then what is happening? From 20 seconds to 30 seconds, we can say they are not moving. So that is one division. That is one division. Then from 30 seconds to 50 seconds, you can see the displacement is decreasing. So if the displacement is decreasing, what can you do? You can draw like this, connect it like this, and take it. So this is how you draw the chart. This is how you draw the chart. Did you get the idea? Did you get the idea? Now, if there's anyone who doesn't know to draw the chart, this is very important. You should know to draw the chart. So this is how you draw the chart. Okay, I'm gonna give you one, like I will give you one chart like this. Can you differentiate? Yeah, I'll explain you. Listen to me. Listen to me, okay? Listen to me carefully. Now, in your paper, in your exam paper, they will give you the below chart is the displacement versus, they will give displacement time chart. So they said that a child has moved, like they will say a child has moved from one place to another place, blah, blah. They have given and they have given a chart. From there, they will give you option number one. They can ask you a question, what is the maximum displacement that is travel. So by looking at the displacement chart there, you can identify 150. The maximum value is what? 150, you will say. Again, now by looking at the chart, you can identify from where to where it's increasing, right? From where to where it's increasing? 0 to 150. 0 to 150, it's increasing. From 150 to 150, can you see any change? That means you lock that area. You lock that area. So from this place to this place, there is no change. There is no change. From here to here, you give me a second. Okay, so look here. So now what is happening? From here to here, you can see there's a decreasing. So what are the 3 points? Increasing of displacement. Displacement is not changing. Decreasing of displacement. So if you divide that points into 3 parts with the timings, only the timings from which range to which range it is increasing, you're gonna mark that 0 to 20. From there only it's becoming 150. From which range to which range, it's not changing. 20 seconds to 30 seconds. That is the time where they are at rest. From which range to which range, it is decreasing. From 30 to 50 seconds. That is the point where it's decreasing 150 to 0. So you mark it down and you draw it out. That's it. That's how it goes. I will give you one. You try out, you identify where the displacement is increasing, where the displacement is decreasing, where the displacement is not changing. I will give you one. You draw me a chart and let me know. I will give you the answer. If you get that correct, then that's it. You don't want to worry about the chart anymore. Okay? Let me give you one. Give a try. So you can do it by yourself. Okay? Okay. I'll give you one. Displacement versus time graph. If you can do it very shortly, then we can do it. Okay? Right. So they have given you a chart. So time, I'll mark it as C. Displacement, capital S. So I'll divide it. 0, 0, 1, 3. Let's take 8, 10. Let's take this as 12. Okay. Displacement is going to be, let's take this as 20 meter, 60 meter, 60 meter, 20 meter, 0. So you have to divide the section where it's increasing, decreasing, not changing. Draw the graph. If you're okay with that, just let me know. Quickly we'll discuss and we'll move with the next part of this lesson, okay? Because this lesson, I would say it's important because like without knowing a part of this lesson, you can't do a question. So it's very important. Don't worry, we have time. Whatever the things I told you, I will do it. We don't want to hurry. It's not like we have to run like a train. So when you run like a train, you feel like, no, I can't. You can't focus. It's okay. We can do it. Okay. Okay, I think you have done. Shall we discuss? Okay, from where to where it's increasing, I'll use another color marker to make sure we are clear. From where to where it's increasing, you can see 0 to 60. That is the range where it's increasing. What is the time range? 0 to 3 seconds. The displacement is increasing, which means the ball is moving forward. From 3 seconds to 8 seconds, I can see the ball is at rest, which means the distance, so displacement is not changing. Then from here to here, we can identify what we can identify. So we can identify the displacement is decreasing. So we can draw the dt graph. How we can draw? What's the maximum displacement that is traveled? That's 60. What is the time range? 0 to 3, 3 to 8 seconds, 8 to the 12 seconds. The center of that, connect it with the 60. If you draw a graph like this, that's correct. If you have drawn a graph in this way, then that's correct graph. Okay, for this you get only 1 mark. For this graph, you get only 1 mark, but still make it as a priority. You don't want to miss this, okay? Okay, right. 20, no need to mention the 20, no? We don't need to mention the 20 meters. Just mark only the highest displacement, that is trouble. That's it. So that graph part is over. Right now, listen to me. Now, can you remember I told you that the scalar quantity and vector quantity comes under the distance and the displacement, right? Now, since we know that if you are measuring, okay, if you are measuring a distance that is traveled at a unit time, if you are measuring the distance, how much distance that you have traveled in a certain time, we call that as speed. We call that as what? Speed. If you take the displacement, if you want to measure the displacement, how much displacement you have traveled in a unit time, we call that as what? Velocity. We call that as what? Velocity. So distance, the unit time, that means here speed means what? The amount of distance that is traveled in a unit time, we call it as speed. The amount of displacement that is traveled in a unit time, we call it as velocity. So that's why, can you remember when you was in grade 10, speed also having the same unit you measure, velocity also you have same unit, distance also have same unit, displacement also have same unit. Have you ever thought this? Have you ever thought this? That means there is difference, but still the meaning is going to be same. Still the meaning is what? Going to be same. The only difference, these people, they are calculating the total amount. Here they are only checking with the shortest distance. They are always checking the shortest path. Here they are always checking the longest path. So that is the difference between them. If you take the velocity, under the velocity only you will have the acceleration. So always remember, if the velocity is there, there will be an acceleration. So remember the connection. If there is displacement, they can create a velocity. If they create a velocity, there will be an acceleration. So displacement can create a velocity. Velocity can create a acceleration. I will teach you the velocity, acceleration, speed in a shortest way. So what's the equation that we can measure the speed? What is the equation? Speed is equals to what? Distance over time. But under the speed part, you have something called average speed. Most of them, they do the mistake in average speed. I will do a small sample of the average speed. You can understand the sample, okay? Just get an idea, okay? So when you take the average speed, the main thing that you have to learn under the average speed is, like here, speed is equal to distance over time, right? But average speed is not like that. Total distance over total time. So that means total distance divided by the total time. But in your exam, will they give you the direct time? Will they give you the time directly in the question? They will not give you the time directly in the question. Sometimes they can give it as a paragraph for you to read. sometimes they can give it as a diagram. Okay, so if I give it as a diagram, let's say a person is moving from Colombo. Okay, let's say a person is moving from Colombo. Let's say he is moving to Kandy. Let's say he's moving to Kandy. Okay, so if that person is moving from Colombo to Kandy, now this is not practical, but to make sure that you have to understand the calculation easily, let's take it as 150 meter. Let's take it as 150 meter. Now what is he doing is, to go from the A to the B, he is going at the speed of 10 meters per second. That means they have given you the speed, but it is your task to identify the time. Okay, so and they are saying that when you come back from the Kandy to Colombo, he is going at the speed of 15 meters per second. 15 meters per second. So from here to here, 10 meters per second, here to here, 15 meters per second. Now, since they have asked you the total distance to go from Colombo, to go from Colombo to Kandy, from Kandy to Colombo, what will be the total distance? 150. 150 means total distance is 300. So same like that, you have to find the total time. How can you find the total time? To find the total time, you can use the equation to find the time. How would you use the equation to find the time? How would you use? So you can use speed is equals to distance over time. You can take it as what? Distance over time. So first, listen to me carefully. Now, divide the section into two parts. So section 1, Colombo to Kandy. Section 2, Kandy to Colombo. Let's say section 1, if I wanted to find the time, what's the speed they have given? They have given the speed 10. The distance they have given is 150. The time that you don't know. So what are you doing? You are exchanging their positions. The 10 will come under the division. Time will go to the other side. Okay. So what will happen? If you divide 150 by 10, so 150 by 10 means how many seconds? That's going to be 15 seconds. That's going to be what? That's going to be your answer as what? 15 seconds. Then what is happening? You found the time to go from Colombo to Kandy is 15 seconds. From Kandy to Colombo, what will be the time? Again, the same equation, you are going to write it down. Remember, equation is very important to be mentioned. If not, I can directly write it. But to make sure that you are very clear about the lesson, write the equation before you do any questions in the physics. Okay? Right. So what is happening? So the distance they have given 150. What is the speed they have given? 15 equals, take it to the other side. What will happen? 150 divided by 15, that's going to be total 10 seconds. So 10 plus 15 seconds, total is 25 seconds will be the total time. So total distance has to get divided by the total time. In 100, how many 25s are there? In 100, 4. So that means you have 300, right? 4 into 3, it's going to be 12 meters per second. So that's what where you find the average speed. Did you understand? Did you understand how to find the average speed? Clear? Got the idea how to find the average speed? Any doubts? Okay, right. Now let's come to the velocity. Now distance part is all over. Distance, speed, everything is over. Okay. So now what is happening is, the main person in your syllabus is what? In the unit 2 is velocity. Acceleration is playing a major role. From the acceleration only you will have the gravity question. You get a gravity question. They can ask you, if the apple is falling from the tree, what can be the height? They can ask you what can be the distance. So they can ask you certain questions. So I will take a little bit time for this one to make you understand, right? So average speed means to go and come back. What is the total time? What is the total distance? You divide and giving the value. That is what we call it as the average speed. Okay, right? Is speed and the average speed is same. Speed is just you are finding the speed to go from one place, one from A to the B. But average speed is A to B, B to A, like that. Go from this place, coming back. That is average speed. Speed is something you only see only one path. You only see one path. Now come to the velocity. Let's come to the velocity. Now, when we come to the velocity, listen to me carefully how this is working, okay? So, when you come to the velocity, especially in your paper, they can ask you to fill the velocity chart. They can ask you to fill the what? Velocity chart. So, here I'm going to teach you how to find the velocity graph. Sorry, velocity. The equation for the velocity is final displacement subtracted by initial displacement divided by time. That means the before and after displacement is getting divided by the time. That's the equation where you find what? You find the velocity. So especially if you're finding the velocity, if you can find the final displacement, if you're subtracting by the initial displacement, then you divide by the time, you find the velocity. So velocity, you measure it by meters per second. You measure it by meters per second. So here, when it comes to velocity, the special thing that I wanted to teach you in the velocity is graph language. Graph language, chart language. Now say for example, there is a chart. Okay, they have given a chart in your term paper. Let's say your term paper, third term paper. I don't know whether you have faced the third term paper yet. Some schools they are facing by 20th of November. Some schools they are facing by December. So still we have time to do our third term paper. So because of that, you can take your maximum use to get an idea about this. Okay, listen. Now what is happening is, now say if I take the velocity chart, first they will give you the time, always time will be on the top, displacement, then velocity will be given. Then let's say you have got a chart like this, and in the velocity place is blank for you. They have given the velocity blank. And let's say they have given you the time here 0, 0, 0. So time is given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The time has been given. And they have given you the displacement. Let's say 20, 40, 40, 20, 0. Now it's your duty to fill in the blanks. You have to fill the blanks to find the velocity. So how are you going to find the velocity? Let me take another color marker. Make you understand. Make sure you are very aware about what I am doing. So listen to me. So how are we doing? Say first take these 2 points. Take these 2 points first to do the velocity question. To find this blank, how are you going to take? First, what's our equation? Velocity is equals to final displacement minus initial displacement divided by time, right? So what's my final displacement? What's my final displacement if I take these two area? What's my final displacement if I take these two area? Yes, what's my final displacement? If I take these 2 points, the final displacement is 20. What's my initial displacement? That's 0. Then, same like that, if you are taking the time, subtract time. 1 minus 0, 1. 1 minus 0 is 1. Don't go for 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. So 20 divided by 1, any value that is getting divided by 1, the same number you will appear. So that means here you get 20 as your velocity. Now to fill this blank, how will I fill? Same like that. Take this point. From this point to this point, that means these 2 points, you are going to fill it. So how you are going to fill that? Same equation. Write it down. Final displacement subtracted by initial displacement divided by time. So that's how the velocity. So what's your final displacement if you take 40? So 40 minus 20. If you take these 2 points, don't take the whole set. Two points, two points. So if you take this one, so 40 minus 20, what's the time? 2 minus 1, 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. Same like that. Like if I take it in the other way, we take final time minus initial time. Instead of that, just subtract it and take it. 2 minus 1 is 1. So 40 subtracted by 20 is 20. 20 divided by 1 is 20. So here you are getting 20. Then take this 2 point, connect it. These 2 point, these 2 point. So if you take this point, both the final velocity and the initial velocity is same, and you are dividing it by the time. 3 minus 2 is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. So 40 minus 40, 0. 0 divided by 1 is 0. It's what? 0. Right. Now there is a hidden secret behind this. Now take this point to this point. These 2 point. Take this 2 point. So if you're taking this 2 point, what's the final? 20. Initial 40. Time 1. 4 minus 3, 1. So look here. Usually in maths, what do we do? Large value you subtract by the small value, right? Large value, that means small value is getting subtracted by the large value, right? If the opposite is taken place, that will be a minus. That means 20 minus 40 will be minus 20 divided by 1 will be minus 20. It will be what? Minus 20. Take these 2 points to find this part. To find this part, how would you find it? What's the final displacement? 0. Minus 20. Now see, the smaller value is front, bigger value is in the second. Because of that, it will go with the minus way. So 1. So 0 minus 20 is minus 20 divided by 1 is minus 20. So look here, we have filled the diagram, right? If we have filled the diagram, it's not enough. They can ask you in your exam, explain the motion between 0 to 1 second and tell about the velocity. Explain about the velocity, they can ask in your exam. So because of that, I'm going to give you a small idea. Can you remember now, like 5 minutes ago, we did what? From 0 to 2 seconds, what's happening? Displacement is increasing. Displacement is increasing. So let's write it here. When the displacement increasing, we understand the boy is moving forward. He is moving forward. So if he is moving forward, what can you say about the velocity? Velocity is positive. Remember, velocity is positive when you are moving forward. Now say, from this point, now if I take this point, now from this point to this point, if I take these 2 points, when the displacement is not changing, the person is at rest. So when the person is at rest, the velocity will be equals to 0. It is equals to what? 0. And then from here to here, what can you say? When the displacement is decreasing, we can say he is returning back, right? So when they are returning back, what can we say about the velocity? Velocity is minus. Velocity is minus. So this is the hidden idea about the velocity when we combine the displacement chart as well as the velocity chart. Did you understand? Did you understand? Got the idea? Got the idea? Simply understand. If a person is moving forward, displacement is increasing, velocity is positive. If a person is at rest, the displacement is not changing, that person is at rest. If a person is returning back, displacement is decreasing, velocity will be negative. Clear? Got it? Right. So now we have to move with the acceleration. Now we have to move with what? We have to move with the acceleration. This acceleration only very important, okay? Because you will get to know about that later. But first, I'll tell you why acceleration is very important. So listen to me carefully. You have to be very attentive at this point, okay? So when you take acceleration, what's our equation? If you have the velocity, it's easy for you to find the acceleration. So acceleration means what? Acceleration equals to final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time. So if you have the final velocity, initial velocity, if you divide by the time, that's we call it as what? Acceleration. So whenever we take any questions related to the acceleration, we measure the acceleration by what? Meters per square. Meters per square. So if you take the meters per square, that's how you measure what? Acceleration. Now say in a situation, if they say a car started, a car started from rest. Let's say I'll put two situation. Okay, situation one, situation two. A car started from rest, moved at a velocity of, let's say, velocity of, let's say, for example, as 15 meters per second in 5 seconds. In 5 seconds. That's one situation. Another situation is a car moved at a velocity velocity of, let's say, a car moved at a velocity of 15 meters per second and came rest in 5 seconds. So both same, but the starting ending different. So from the word a car started means the initial. They are saying the initial. If they ask you to find the acceleration, remember that means they are asking you about the velocity. So when they say started from the rest means, remember they are saying the initial of whom? Initial velocity. So if I say if the object is at rest, what can you say about the velocity? Just now I told you. Velocity is equals to 0. So that means we can say that acceleration equals to final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time. This is the equation. Don't ask me what is this v, okay? V and u, that's final velocity, initial velocity divided by time. This is a symbolic equation. So, what's our final velocity? What is our final velocity? They have already given 15. Our initial velocity is 0. The time 5. That means our answer is 3 meters per square. No problem. This is our acceleration. Then here a car moved at a velocity. That means the starting itself they are saying the car moved at a velocity and it came to rest means the final velocity is 0. Initial velocity is 15. So which means you take it as what? 0 minus 15 divided by 5. You get the answer as minus 3 meters per second. Sorry, per square. So that means when you get the value as minus, remember when you get the value as a minus, you can't just write it as a minus and keep it, because now in your exam if they ask you to find the acceleration, remember acceleration is always positive. It is always positive. So if that is positive means what can you say? That means if you get the value in negative, the opposite of the acceleration is what? Deceleration. So you have received what? Deceleration. So that means if you get it minus in the next term, in the same place, you are going to write it as what? Plus 3 meters per square. What are you going to write? You are going to write it as what? Plus 3 meter per square, which means you are saying this is going to be the acceleration, but this is going to be what? Deceleration. If you get minus, remember, don't leave it as minus. Give the positive answer. That's it. So look here, from the situation 1, 0 to 15, velocity is increasing or decreasing? Velocity is increasing. From 15 to 0, what can you say about the velocity? Velocity is decreasing. So you need to understand whenever the velocity is increasing, there will be an acceleration. Whenever the velocity is decreasing, there will be a deceleration. That means acceleration will be there when there is a high velocity. Deceleration will be happening when the velocity is decreasing. So that is what you have to understand. Got the idea? Got the idea? Did you get an idea? Yes. Understood? Yes. Did you understand how this is working? Right. So now I am going with the gravitational force. Okay. Question number 2, they are saying a car moved at a velocity of 15 meters per second. That means it started to move. They didn't say it started from 0. It's just moving 15 meters per second. And it have come to rest, it seems. So what's the final velocity? 0. Initial velocity is 15. Time is 15. So you get the value in minus. Whenever you get the value in minus, you should not leave it as minus. You have to give the positive value next to that. So that's where you give the acceleration value. If you put it in minus, that's going to be deceleration. But still, I recommend don't keep that answer as minus. You write minus 3 meters per second. Closer to that, you put a slash, put a plus 3 meters per squared. Okay. Second squared, I always confuse, but take it as squared. Okay. Right. So now what is happening? That's about acceleration. Now I have to teach you about the gravitational acceleration. Most of them make a mistake in that. They do mistake in that, and also they don't know how to draw the graph for that. So that is what I'm going to teach you, because these things you need it. You need it. Now if you wanted to do your third term also, you need that. Okay, right. So let me teach you about the gravitational acceleration. So listen to me. So listen to me carefully. Okay, right. Now, if you take the earth, the force which pull, that means the force which attracts the objects towards the center of the earth, we call it as what? Gravitational force, or we call it as weight. We call it as gravitational force, we call it as weight, right? So now what is happening is, if I take my weight, okay, if I take the weight, another name for the weight, we call it as gravity. We call it as gravity. In another name for the gravity, we can call it as force. All of them are measured by Newton. Okay, all of them are measured by Newton. So now what is happening is, you need to understand how, like, questions come to your exam. Now say for example, I will tell you a situation. Okay, now say you have a rubber ball in your hand. So if you take a rubber ball and if you throw the rubber ball up to the sky, will it keep on moving up, or will it move for a certain distance and it will fall? What will happen? What will happen? So you see that ball will move at a certain distance and it will return back to the earth, right? It is returning back to the earth. Why are you returning back to the earth? When you jump, you come back to the earth. You throw a ball to the sky, the ball will come back to the earth back again. What's the reason? The reason is due to the gravity, or due to the gravitational force, or due to the weight. So because of that, the object is coming down to the earth. So in your exam, they can ask you certain questions like this. So listen to me carefully. Now, I have a rubber ball. Let's say if I am throwing the rubber ball at a velocity of, let's say I'm going to throw the rubber ball at a velocity of 40 meters per second. That means always remember, when the object is, let's say, whenever the object is going against the earth, okay, whenever the object is going against the earth, remember that object will have the less velocity. They will have the less velocity. Whenever the object is coming towards the earth, whenever it is coming towards the earth, their velocity will be increasing. So when they are going against the earth, velocity will be decreasing. When they are coming towards the earth, velocity will be what? Velocity will be increasing. So now what is happening? You are throwing the ball. When you throw the ball, will the ball keep on going up, or will it stop at one point and come down? It will stop and come down, right? So when the ball is stopping and trying to return, when they are returning back to the earth, the point where the ball at the highest position, where it stops, the velocity will be what? Velocity will be zero. I told you, when the object comes to rest, it will be zero. Same like that. Now what is happening? Now the ball, now I told you speed and the velocity is same. Speed and the velocity is same. So now what is happening? You throw the ball at a speed of velocity 40 meters per second, right? So at the same speed, it will come back to the earth at the velocity of 40 meters per second. So you know the ball is coming back to the earth due to the gravity. Due to the gravity, it's coming back to the earth. So now what you need to understand, what is the twist is here? What is the main thing that you have to remember? What is the main thing that you have to remember? The main thing that you have to remember is, look here, I taught you just now, From 40 to 0 velocity. Velocity is increasing or velocity is decreasing. Velocity is decreasing means whenever the object is going against the earth, there will be a deceleration. There will be a deceleration. So now from here, look here, 0 to 40. Velocity is increasing. That means when the velocity increases, we call it as what? Acceleration. Now see, now due to the gravity, if the acceleration is created, we call that as gravitational acceleration. So if the acceleration is created due to the gravitational force. Now see, you jump and you come back to the earth. Why? Why is it coming back to the earth? Due to the gravitational force. So if you are creating an acceleration due to the gravitational force, you call that as gravitational acceleration. So the gravitational force on the earth is 9.8 meters per squared, but in approximately in your syllabus we take it as 10 meters per square. So whenever they speak about the gravity, we take it as the value 10. We have to take the value as 10. So now see, when it comes to deceleration, remember your gravitational force will be minus 10 meters per square. But when it comes to acceleration, your value will be plus 10 meters per square. It will be 10 meters per square. So which means always remember, whenever the object is coming back to the earth, that object will gain velocity and that will have the acceleration. Whenever the object is going against the earth, they will lose the velocity and they will have the deceleration. That's what. Now think, when you, now say for example, when you climb staircase, you feel hard, right? A good example, when you are climbing staircase you feel hard, but in the same staircase when you are getting down, you feel easy. What's the reason? Because always remember, we are always pulled towards the gravity. So when we are pulled towards the gravity, that means we have the acceleration, we have the power to go down. So that's the main case you have to understand. Now you may ask me, teacher, by learning this, what are we going to do? So in your exam, by giving a situation, they will give a situation like this. Okay, they will give a situation like this. They will say that a fruit detached, a fruit detached from its stalk at a velocity of, this is a O level paper I could remember, velocity of 40 meters per second. In the bracket they will give you the gravitational force as 10 meters per square, something like this they will give you. Roman number 1, they can ask you, find the initial velocity. They can ask you to find the initial velocity. Okay, the next question they can ask you, find the height, find the height of the fruit, find the height of the fruit where it was placed, okay, I could not remember the exact question. Okay, I'm just writing what I could remember. The next question they can ask you is, find the time taken by the fruit to detach, okay, like to fall down. So they can ask you something like this. So when they ask you a question like this, listen to me carefully. What's this word is saying? You have the tree and you know the stalk of the tree, the apple is there. Now the fruit is detaching means it's now attached, opposite detach. Now usually the fruit is attached to the branch, but detach means they are going to remove. So before they are removing, you know, this apple was on the, it was on the tree, right? It was on the tree, it was fixed. That means, did that move? Did that apple move anytime? Did it move? It was at rest, right? If it is at rest, what can you say about the velocity? What can you say about the velocity? If the object is at rest, what can you say about the velocity? The velocity is what? Zero. It is zero, which means the initial velocity is what? It is zero. Now, they can ask you what is the maximum velocity. That means from zero, it is gaining a velocity of what? It is gaining a velocity of 40 meters per second. That means from 0 to 40, acceleration, or is it deceleration? Is it acceleration or deceleration? What can you say? 0 to 40, gaining velocity, or it's decreasing velocity. Decreasing velocity or increasing velocity? It's an acceleration. Very good. 0 to 40, it's an acceleration. Why? The object is coming towards the earth. It is pulled towards the earth. Now come to the next point. Next point, they can ask you, find the height of the fruit where it was placed. So before you come to the height question, first they can ask you to find the time. Okay, I have given you the opposite way. To find the time, you simply use the equation, acceleration equation. Acceleration is equals to final velocity minus the initial velocity divided by time. So the gravitational acceleration is given. That's it. What is the final velocity? 40. What's the initial velocity? 0. You don't know the time. What are you doing? You are exchanging the positions. So 40 divided by 10. 4 seconds. So your answer is the time that has been taken that the fruit to detach from its stalk is what? 4 seconds. Now they will ask you to find the height. How will you find the height? How will you find the height? Just tell me, how will you find the height? To find the height, how will you find? So to find the height, you have to use the linear equation. You can call it as the trapezium equation. Area under the graph also you can use. I call it as linear equation. For the linear equation, I will say final velocity plus initial velocity. You have to add. Put a bracket. Multiply by the time, divide by the 2. So use the equation. Final velocity plus initial velocity. You have found the time, multiplied by 4 divided by what? 2. So 2 divided by 4 here, 2. 40 plus 0 is 40. 40 into 2 is 80 meters. So that's going to be the height. You have to give it in meter. Don't forget this. The next question they can ask you, draw the velocity time graph. They can ask you to draw velocity time graph for the above situation. How can you draw the velocity time graph? Can you tell me 0 to 40? Increasing velocity or decreasing velocity? Increasing velocity or decreasing velocity? Just tell me, we'll see whether you can answer. 0 to 40, increasing velocity or decreasing velocity? Okay, very good. Increasing velocity. So if it is a graph, if it is increasing, will you have, which graph would you have? You will have a graph number 1 or you will have a graph number 2? Graph number 1. So how will you draw that graph number 1? How will you draw that graph number 1? VT graph. How will you draw? What is the maximum time that has been taken? 4 seconds. What is the maximum time that has been taken? That means we can say 40. So if you draw like this, if you can take like this, then this will be the graph. So this is how you draw the graph. Did you get the idea? So remember, you have to draw the graph according to the situation. So if they say returning back, for that also you have to draw the graph. If they say one way question, you have to draw the graph. So according to the question, you have to think whether it's a decreasing or increasing at rest. By that, you have to decide what graph will be appearing. So we are done with the gravitational acceleration. Now we are coming to the final part of this lesson. It's full of the graph, like full of graph. Okay, I'm going to teach you full of graph. Like by looking at the graph, what do you understand? So what is the unit we wanted to put for the height of the tree? When we say height, it's measured by meter. Remember, meters. We measure the standard international unit to measure the height is what? It is by meters, right? Look here. So now we are coming to the graph part. We are coming to the graph part. So listen to me carefully. This is very important for the MCQ. I'm giving a small tip for you for the MCQ. So when you come to the MCQ, you have to understand this clearly, okay? Right. Now listen to me carefully. When you take the displacement versus time graph. If you take the displacement versus time graph, you can find the velocity versus time graph. Why? If there is displacement, you can find the velocity. If you take the velocity versus time graph, you can find the acceleration versus time graph. So these graphs usually come to your what? These graphs usually come to your O-level MCQ paper most of the time. Like not really also. Most of the time you get this. At least you get one question out of that. So let's say in your exam, they have given you displacement versus time graph like this. They have given you displacement versus time graph like this. Remember, whenever you get a graph, okay, whenever you get a graph, something like this, okay, think. Whenever you get a graph, something like this, remember they are increasing, okay, they are increasing. Whenever you get a graph that is opposite to this, something like this, falling down, this means decreasing. Think it's decreasing. Okay, if you know this one, okay. Then, whenever you get a graph like this, straight, remember it's not increasing, it is uniform. They are moving uniformly. That means they are positively moving uniformly. When you get the opposite way like this, remember they are moving uniformly but in a negative way. In a negative way. Okay, the just get an idea. So now say they have given in your exam, they have provided displacement versus time graph like this. And in the MCQ, they are asking you to find the velocity versus time graph. So they have given you option number 1, option number 2, option number 3, option number 4. So they have given you one like this, one like this, one like this, one like this. So they have given you like this. Okay. So they have given you option number 1, 2, 3, 4. Four options are given. By looking at this, you have to select which one will be the velocity versus time graph. So now tell me clearly. Okay. Now tell me clearly. Now, if the displacement versus time graph, if it is in the curve side, if it is curve, we say that's increasing, right? That means if the displacement versus time graph increasing, if that is increasing, what did we learn? What did we learn? What did we learn? Can you remember? If the displacement increases, the velocity will be what? Velocity will be positive. That means it will be always uniform. It will be always positive and uniform. If the displacement does not, if the displacement does not increase or decrease, velocity is what? Zero. So then if the displacement decreases, what did we understand? Velocity will be minus. So we know that it's easy to understand. Now look here. If the displacement is increasing in a displacement versus time graph, what will be the graph that can come under velocity time graph? Don't go for this one. This line says that they are, what do you say? This line says, wait, listen, I will tell you. They are increasing uniformly. This one is what? They are increasing uniformly. This means this graph says they are increasing uniformly. This one says they are not more, that means they are uniform. But when the object is at rest only, you will see this symbol. This graph comes when they are at rest. When they are at rest, you see they are straight line. Okay, so first let me explain you. There is another method. I will teach you that method. Listen to me. Now, what you need to understand is in your grade 11 syllabus max, you have something called tangents. You have something called tangents. So in the tangents, you know that you are drawing angles in a circle. We call it as tangents, right? So by using the tangents way only, I said you, whenever you get a graph, curvy graph like this graph says that the displacement is increasing. If the displacement is increasing, remember the velocity is also increasing uniformly. It is also increasing what? It is also increasing uniformly. That means the graph that will come, The graph that will come for the velocity is increasing what? Increasing uniformly. So the graph that will come for this one is what? For the velocity time graph will be increasing uniformly. So then say for example, in your exam, they have given you the velocity time graph like this, and they are asking you to find the acceleration versus time graph in the four option. They have given you option 1, option 2, option 3 and 4. So option 1 like this, option 2 like this, option 3 like this, option 4 something like this. Now you know, if they are increasing uniformly and positively, that means the acceleration also has to be what? The acceleration also has to be positive. And remember, when the velocity is uniform, remember, when the velocity is moving uniformly, you need to understand that the acceleration will be equals to 0. That acceleration will be what? Equals to 0. So remember, what you need to understand? Listen to me carefully. I'll repeat it again. Whenever you get a graph like this, remember this graph is representing something is increasing. It can be velocity, it can be displacement, it can be acceleration. Now I have given you displacement versus time graph, and I have mentioned this is the graph. So that means the displacement is increasing. If the displacement is increasing, remember, if they are increasing means they are uniformly increasing. So if they are uniformly increasing means the velocity versus time graph will be this one. By looking at this graph, if I wanted to identify the acceleration versus time graph, just remember this point. If you have uniform velocity, the acceleration will be 0. So also, you know, this is a positive way. This up is a positive way. So that means, should I select this one or should I select the fourth option? I have to select the third option. I have to select the third option. That means acceleration is 0, but the graph is positive because you had a velocity time graph that is positive. Did you understand? Did you understand? Did you get the idea how this is working? If you want me to explain again, I will explain you, but I will use the other side. I will use the other graph, okay? Look here. Let's say, now in your exam, now you have to answer me, okay? You have to explain. I'll repeat it again. Listen, okay? Now, just take a piece of paper and write what I am saying, okay? Write what I am saying. That's it. I want you to write. Then after that, you can answer easily. So what you have to answer is, say, for example, they have given you, if they have given you a graph like this, if they have given you a graph like this, remember, if they have given a graph like this, we can say, if this is like this, we can say this symbol is increasing symbol. This is a increasing symbol. If you get a graph like this, and if it is the opposite way, this is a decreasing symbol. This is a decreasing symbol. Okay, this is a decreasing symbol. Write that out. After that, you can answer. Okay. Then after that, if they have given you like this, if they have given you like this, uniformly increasing, this is going to be what? Uniformly increasing. And also remember, it's positive. It's positive. And the opposite one, negatively, we can say, not negatively, uniformly decreasing. And it's negative graph. Okay. Then if you get a graph like this, if you get a graph like this, positive, positive, and it says at rest, and also it can say it's positive. Okay, it's positive, it's positive, and it says the value is 0. Its value is 0. Its value is 0. Okay, then we can take the other one, the negative one. The negative one is that also value is 0. So in the other point, you can write it down. Other point, you can write it down. When dt dt graph increases, if the dt graph increases, the vt graph also increases. Uniform means like we say 1, 2, 3, 4, like 1 second by 1 second, it's little by little increasing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like one by one increasing. Not like 45, like 55. It's not a irregular value. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means you are having a uniform in the sense like step by step. 1 second by 1 second, 1 second by 1 second, the value is increasing. That is, we call it as uniform. So look here. So what is happening? When the dt graph increases, the vt graph also increases positively and uniformly. When vt graph is uniform, then the acceleration is zero. The acceleration is zero. Okay. So if they all are positive, everyone will be positive. If the other person is negative, everyone will be negative. That's the thing you have to understand. So once you have done writing, let me know. I will just go with some MCQ questions with you. I will just show you. This is how, if you can identify the correct answer, that means you are done with that lesson. You are done. You are clear with that. Remember, physics lessons are very big lessons. Like I can't just complete as biology. It's like you have to learn deeply. Okay. Okay. If you have done writing, let me know. Okay, done. Great. Look here. Now you got an idea, right? Okay, now I'm going to give you a small like MCQ. Okay, so first I will give you a DT graph. DT graph will be given you. By using the DT graph, you have to find the VT graph as well as AT graph. Okay, so in the DT graph, I have given you something like this. The graph is like this. So what will be the VT graph? You have to think and answer. First, you have to observe, then answer me. Okay, so first graph is like this. Second graph is like this. Third graph is like this. Fourth graph is like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is going to, which one is going to be the VT graph? Is it 1 or 2 or 3 or 4? Think. Now I told you very well, no. If it is like this, it's increasing. If it is in the opposite way, that's decreasing. So everyone said the answer, second one. Very good. Now by looking at this graph, you are going to answer the AT graph, acceleration versus time graph. You are, by looking at that, you are going to answer for the acceleration versus time graph. So how will you answer is, let me give you, nicely look, huh? Yeah, I'm just connecting everything. So tell me which one will be the graph. First one or second one or third one or fourth one. Now see, it's decreasing uniformly, right? Whenever the velocity is moving uniformly, acceleration is equals to 0. And also the what is that? Is it positive or negative? I told you a point. Can you remember? Whenever the acceleration is uniform, what did you understand? When the acceleration, sorry, if the velocity is uniform, acceleration will be 0. So that means you need to understand the answer is fourth one. The one who said the third one, just remember they are moving downward, right? That means the direction is negative. The direction is negative. So if the direction is negative, this one. If the direction is positive, this one. Did you understand? Right, I'll give you one last time. Try to find it. If you can find it, we are done with the lesson. Okay, we are done with the lesson. So okay, I'll give you the yeah, we'll say for example, okay, let's say for example you have got the dt graph. If you have got the dt graph, I'll give you only one, just find it. Now they have given you like this. They have given you like this. dt graph is uniformly increasing. So if the dt graph is uniformly increasing, what will be the vt graph? Okay, what will be the vt graph? So vt graph, is it going to be this one, or is it going to be this one, or is it going to be this one, or is it going to be this one? I mean, this one. Is it first one, or second one, or third one, or the fourth one? Okay, remember, now just think. I'll tell you a small idea, okay? If they have given this graph mean, the second answer also won't be the same graph. It won't be the same graph. Think, uniform. They are moving uniform. Displacement is moving uniform. Can you remember this one? Can you remember this one I gave you? Can you draw this one, like you say this point, you draw a graph like this, no? When you draw a graph like this, which part of the graph is having a uniform displacement? This point to this point, right? So when they are going straight, that means will it be this, or will it be this one? Third one. Why? It's positive. Now did you understand how to find? Did you understand how to find the graph? Did you get the idea? Did you get the idea? Yes. So that's it about the graphs. So that's how they will give you. They will give you a picture like this. They will give you 4 options. By looking at that, you have to answer. That's it. Okay, what didn't you understand? Remember, I gave you some points. By reading that points, you have to understand. Now listen to me. If the displacement is moving uniformly, which part of the displacement is moving? Look at the diagram, will you? If you look at the diagram, look here. If they're uniformly increasing, they are like, what can you say? This point, you can say this point will be the velocity. This point will be the velocity. You already knew that when the displacement is increasing uniformly, then the velocity will be something like this. They will go straight. They will be straight, positive. Can you remember, if a person moving forward, the displacement is increasing, then the velocity will be positive. So think, this person, this will be the answer. If you get a question from this, the same answer cannot be this one. Somewhere around this one. But you know this is somewhere going up. This is positive. So when it is positive, you have to select this one. That's how it will come. Did you get the idea? In case if they have given a blank graph, remember that's a zero. Graph is zero. That means that is also will make a sense. If they give you a blank graph, don't get scared. That means they are saying the graph is zero. So you know when it will become zero, right? So that's it. So you will get only 1 mark. 1 mark out of that question. So no need of worrying. So we are done with the unit 2. In the next week, not the next week, I will update you the new physics class time, and you can join at that. If the dt graph is at rest, if the dt graph is rest, let's say, can you remember, if the dt graph is like this, let's say if the dt graph is at rest, what will be the graph for the velocity? Velocity will be zero. Velocity will be zero. You will have a blank graph. That's it. If you have a dt graph which is like this straight, which means the object is at rest. When the object is at rest, you already study, the velocity will be always zero. So you will not have graph like this. You will have a graph which is blank. Yeah, I will teach the lessons, whatever the things I told you, and I will update you the times. Acceleration, they won't be asking the acceleration. When the velocity is zero, acceleration also will be zero. You know, right? If there is a velocity only, there is an acceleration. When there is no velocity, there will be that means decreasing velocity is deceleration. But if you don't have a velocity, there will be no acceleration. I will let you know the time. I will be keeping posted. See you tomorrow in the chemistry class. So yeah, so then have a good day. Take care. Good night. I hope you found easy with the lessons. I mean, like the things I told you, whatever the important lessons, I hope you may have noted down. And see you back on tomorrow And also, I will update you the session 2 details and everything. Take care. Good night. Thanks for staying until the end. Barakallah. Walaikum salam. Walaikum salam, dear. I will check Yusuf after all my works are done, inshallah, when I get free because I have to do some other works. Take care. Have a good day.